Okay, hopefully a final video. I did realize I made a minor mistake when I was calculating my y's from last time. I had a parenthesis mistake, so I needed to move this parenthesis here to close out the exponent function. So make sure you do that and fix that, because when I copied my formula down, I just messed something up. When I copied my formula down, I was getting an error message. And then also when I was copying my y formula down, I stopped at before I got to the 1 data point because it gave me a circular reference. So just from last time, I've been playing around with it. I highlighted and dragged this formula for y all the way down until I almost got to 1, but not quite. Because when I do get to 1, I get this circular reference. And I think that's because I'm using phi1 set in the calculation. So I could fix that later if I wanted to, but I think that doing this is going to give me enough data that I need. So I am going to set up solver to do the rest of my data points now. So I'm going to set my objective to be setting L35, which is my constraint cell, equal to 0 by changing variable cells. And now I want to solve all the rest of them. And depending on how strong your computer is, this may take a while. So you can do less data points if you'd like as well. I'm going to add some constraints that all of these cells are equal to 0 as well. And I'm going to see how long it takes my computer to do this. Anticipating it might take a little bit. Okay, a couple seconds. Maybe I need to do less data points as well. It's crunching. Okay, took maybe 10 seconds. You got to watch that because we're going to have to do this a couple times. Remember, we're going to have to iterate here. So I'm going to copy my values from phi1 and phi2 over to my phi1 guess. So this is how I'm doing the iteration. Notice that my phi1 guesses are all constant. So I need to copy these down until they match. So I want to copy and just paste the values. Not the formulas, I'm going to paste the values. That's going to make my constraints differ from 0 again. So my constraint cells are based on my phi1 ratio cells, and I want to make sure my phi ratio is based on my phi guess, which is just a value. So I'm going to set up solver to run again. So I'm just going to click solve, and I'm going to pause the video while it runs. Okay, again, it took about maybe 15, 20 seconds. Now if I'm comparing my phi1 and my phi2, I'm a lot closer here. So 0.884, 0.871, I'm just doing some spot checks, just checking in random areas, trying to see how close I am. Still a little bit off, so maybe I'll do one more round. So I'm going to copy my phi values again. So very important that when you click copy, copy will copy them, but when I click paste, I want to choose the paste option that's the values. Not the formulas is going to give me a reference error because it's going to be circular. So values just takes the number and converts it. I'm going to go ahead and run this again. So this is called an iterative approach, and you have to iterate in addition to using solver because solver can't solve multiple things at once, at least to my knowledge. Maybe I'm not doing this in the smartest way, but this will work. So I'm going to pause again and just run solver again. All right, here I am just doing spot checks again, 880, 8787, and 772, 768. Still getting closer and closer, not exactly right on it. Let's do just one more. It doesn't take that long to do. Your computers may take a little bit longer, so I would understand if you cut it short after this. Oops, don't want to do that. I want to make sure I'm copying the right cells. So copy these over to my phi guess. I think I did the first one 4 rounds. So pausing again, running solver again. All right, now I'm getting happy with the accuracy. 7478, 7468. That's pretty close. When we're getting out to the 3rd and 4th decimal place. I don't think we're going to need to do any more than this. And I want to throw out this data point because, oops. Oh, I have to leave it in because I'm using it as a reference for the other ones. All right, now to evaluate how good the data fits, I need to plot the PXY diagram. So this is just based purely on experimental data. I'm going to make a new column. Whoops, not print. This is going to be P in KPA. And it's going to be equals this one divided by 1,000. It's going to get me into consistent units. So where's my experimental data graph? It's up here. Let me now superimpose the data fits. So I'm gonna blow it up, make it bigger. And bring to front. There we go. Okay, select data, add data series. I wanna add my PXY values. So going from 0 to almost 1.98. Series Y values is gonna be my P's in KPA. Okay. That doesn't look great. I'm going to add the other one. So add the Y's. And add the P. Still not great. Okay, but I do have the azeotrope behavior. I have captured that. I want to format my data series such that I have no marker. And I want just a red line maybe. And 1.5 thickness. Same thing here. No marker, but I want a line, solid line red, 1.5, 1 point thickness, 1.5 thickness. All right. So I've got something wrong here, obviously. It could be, as I talked about just now, just in the office hours section, that when I have a mistake, when I've got a deviation of my model from my experimental data, there's 3 possible things that could be wrong. Number one is that I made a mistake somewhere. And because this is the first time I'm doing this, I'm very open to that possibility that I might have a mistake. Second possibility is that my experimental data is somehow flawed. And this data came from a textbook. So I didn't check it for thermodynamic consistency, but that's something that I might want to double check. And the third possibility is that there's something wrong with the model. And that could potentially be the case as well. So I'm going to need to think about this for a second. I'm going to quickly check my work and make sure I didn't make a mistake that's obvious, but I'll come back with my conclusion. I think I got it. I made a big time coding mistake, and in my value for, where was it? My phi1 set. So I just changed this. I did have this phi1 set referencing the value that was down here. So that was why I was getting a circular reference. I want to take my phi1 set from the value that I know it is. So phi1 set is a function of the B's and pressure and temperature, which don't change. Right? Saturation pressure doesn't change. So I want to take it from up here because I've calculated it already. I want to do the same thing for phi2 set. So phi2 set is taken from H34, not H34. I want to move this reference. I don't want it to reference something that's down here. So when I change this, now my constraints got thrown off again. So I'm going to have to do another round of solvering. So one moment, I'm going to do a couple of rounds of solver and see if it fixes. Found another mistake. This one has me mad enough to throw my computer through the wall. Right here in the gamma 2 equation, I've got 1 minus A36. That's supposed to be 1 minus X1, which is supposed to be X2. I need a parenthesis there. So I need to close out that parentheses, and is that going to fix it? I think so. Or is that going to make everything worse? Let me copy that all the way down. Okay. Oh, gammas are going up to infinity. I don't think that fixed it. So let's see. Let me pull up my Wilson equation one more time. Oh, it's hidden underneath all this. Okay, gamma 2 the equation for gamma 2 is exponent minus ln of x2 plus lambda 21 x1 minus x1 lambda 21 over x1 plus lambda 12, which is referenced correctly, times x2 and what's purple parentheses closing out the bottom, minus lambda 1, 2 divided by A34 is x1. G28 is lambda 2, 1 plus x2. Close out green, close out, what's the purple? Purple, red is this term. Is that supposed to be closed out there? Yes. Okay, I keep finding little mistakes, but I have not gotten it to behave quite yet. The one mistake I did notice is I had the lambdas switched up here. So in gamma 2, it should be lambda 2, 1, lambda 2, 1, then lambda 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. But I'm not seeing where my mistake is. And as I'm sure you're all aware, the longer you stare at Excel trying to get it to work, the less likely it is that you get an actual answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break. I'm going to call it good for today. I'm going to keep looking at this over the weekend with fresh eyes, and I'll come back on Monday and I'll try and figure out what's going on here. We'll do another practice problem on Monday. So sorry I wasn't able to get you to the correct answer here, but maybe if one of you notices what I'm doing wrong, please send me an email, or if you notice a mistake that I made, send me an email. That'd be super helpful for me. But for now, I'm going to take a little break and come back to this on Monday.